Hello, Lobo fans, and welcome into your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with the head football coach at New Mexico, Jason Eck. Coach Eck, as always, great to be with you. The Lobos had a ton of momentum coming out of the Rio Grande rivalry. You go to San José State, your first Mountain West Conference game as head coach. A tough loss. Just your overall impressions.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. They played better than us and certainly deserved the win, and I think that'll be a good lesson. For us, we got to take through that game of things we have to improve on here down the stretch. We got a lot of football left, including a really good Boise team this week, and we'll attack the practice field this week to get better. For
sure, we'll touch on Boise toward the end of the program, but what are some of the focal points you would think for this week of practice?
I think we got to be more physical. I was disappointed they ran the ball better than we did against us. I think we got to get back to making sure we're playing clean football where the Lobos aren't beating the Lobos. I thought we had too many penalties that were costly in the game. And some of that is technique. Some of that is just discipline and decision-making. We got to improve our turnover ratio. I'm disappointed that we're -7 for the year turnover ratio. We got to do a better job creating takeaways on defense and protecting the ball better on offense. And I'd like to start a little faster, too. I think we're digging ourselves some holes, getting down 14-0 early.
Okay, Coach, let's take a peek at some of the highlights from the first half. The Lobos got off to a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, they had a nice drive, running it a lot against our three-man front.
And then they punch it in here on the ground. Surprised they were able to run it the way they were here at the start?
Yeah, I think they did a good job just taking what we were giving them.
Now here you get Day on the edge and comes up just short, but you're able to convert here on 4th down?
Yeah, Scott Trey did a nice job here. A couple times on 4th and 1s converting here. Nice block here by Jamar coming across the formation, and we pick up the 4th and 1.
They're able to get you off the field on this possession, and it's right here, Coach. This is the trick play that ends up going for the pick.
Yeah, there's some little details that we got to coach up a little bit better on this play that I think let them sniff it out, and it was a really nice play there by number 3.
They continue to have the run game working here early on, and they're just taking advantage of the three-man front at this point?
Yep, and then this one, unfortunately, we had a chance to intercept this. We had our hands on it. I thought we got to a nice call, but the ball tips off our guy, and their guy really makes a heck of a concentrated catch to bring it in for a touchdown.
Gosh, and if it deflects in any other direction than where it goes, there's no way that ends up being a touchdown. Now here you get Cade Keith going on the sideline.
Nice job by Jack extending the play.
Again, you have the slow start, Coach, but your team responds so well. And here's Simon Mappa's second catch.
Yeah, it was good to see us come back and get back into it and move the ball pretty well throughout the day.
What about your run game, Coach? Here's Damon Bankson getting you down inside the 5.
We got to run it better, but I did think Damon ran it well throughout the day. I thought he played the best of our backs, and good to see him punch it in there.
And you could tell that he's dinged up and he's playing through that. He showed some serious toughness, Coach.
Yeah, I think he's doing a really nice job and really ran hard.
So you pull within 14-7. Now they're back on offense.
Can't let this one happen. It's a 3rd and 9. We're in a cover 3 call, and we get the ball thrown over our heads. 10 is really a great player. I mean, he'll be one of the best receivers in the conference, but that's something we got to prevent.
You guys are doing a terrific job in the pass game throughout. Wonderful play here on the deep ball by Sean Miller.
Yeah, it was good to see Sean play well. And a nice ball by Jack. Good protection there.
Goes up between 2 defenders and pulls that down. And a play fake here. Jack's able to get Keagan Johnson. What about the chemistry that these two have started to develop, Coach?
They're playing great together, and again, Keegan's really playing well. We got to protect that a little better, take the hit off Jack.
You talked about the way that those delivery sacks can alter those throws a little bit, and maybe led to one of the interceptions coming up a little bit later. But there's Scott Trey Humphrey on the inside run.
Another 4th and 1, and we didn't get it by much. We got to clean up our blocking a little bit on that play, but good to see us punch it in there and make it 21-14.
Continue to be super aggressive on 4th and short. And here's a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, we get them off the field, which was great. Got our first stop, and now we got a chance to go down the field and score. And unfortunately, we get a big one right away. But we have a little technique here. We got to clean up our hands here in the O-line because this comes back. That would have been big to tie it up there right before the half.
Yeah, explain that a little bit more in terms of the positioning of the hands for the O-lineman.
Yeah, we just got caught with kind of our hand on the back, and the guy spun, and I really don't think it had a huge effect on the play. It was good to see us kind of respond back and have a nice drive to get in the scoring range again.
Keagan showing you a little run after catch right there.
Yeah, he's got a good knack for drawing those pass interferences as well.
So now you're up against the clock a little bit here at the end of the second quarter. What about the operation of the 2-minute drill here at the finish of the first half?
I thought we did a nice job in the 2-minute drill. It was a big catch by Buckley. I believe we hit Dorian here in a crossing route. He flattens that route out a little bit more. He won't get hit as hard, but we get a first down. Probably need to make a little quicker decision here. This will be a good teachable moment for Jack. We'd love to maybe get one more play off there if we were a little quicker with our decision now.
And this, it looks for all the world like it's a touchdown. Credit to the DB, or a situation there where Dorian's got to be a little stronger with the ball?
It was a great ball by Jack. I think their DB does get a hand on it. It was a good call by the officials. He bobbled it, so we have to take 3 instead of getting 7 now.
All right, you're going into intermission down 21-17. What are you thinking as you're going to the locker room?
I thought we were in great shape at halftime. I thought we kind of found our footing. We'd come off getting a stop. We were moving the ball really well. I thought we'd taken their best shot and we're ready to go, but didn't start too strong that second half, which was disappointing.
All right, we come back with second half highlights next. We're back on the Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at New Mexico, Jason Eck. Coach, you said you felt good going into the locker room. What'd you say to the guys?
Well, I thought we had a chance to take control of the game. We had the ball first. If we could have came down and got a score and taken the lead and then gotten a stop, you really have a chance to control the game. But credit to San José State, Coach Ken. They had a good plan in the second half and thwarted that idea.
Let's get to second half highlights. And Coach, you mentioned it. This is the first game really where untimely penalties kind of hurts your football team.
Yeah, we really convert this third down twice. This we would have had a conversion on that, and then we check it down to Sean, and both times it gets called back on penalties. So that was extremely disappointing to have, twice you convert a third and long, which aren't always easy to convert, and instead we get called back and we have to punt.
And the start of this drive, there was a penalty on the kick return as well.
Yes.
It backed you up.
Yes. And then it ends up being, we get a fortuitous bounce here on Daniel's punt. And we end up, flipping the field and not giving them great field position, even though we didn't move the ball very well on offense. But credit to them, they come down and score.
Yeah, I thought this was a key juncture in the game. You have a chance to take your first lead, can't do anything without possession, and then they go down and score.
Yeah, that number 10 is a great player. He's got my vote for all conference. He really hurt us, and then they were able to punch it in here. We don't keep leverage on the football, and they put the lead out to 11.
What about the way your offense came out here in this possession?
Yeah, we had a one-on-one ball, took a shot downfield. We got to protect this a little bit better. I think we could have had a better throw. And then, sometimes if you're Keagan, you just have to be the DB at the end. If you can't catch it, try to knock it away.
And that's one of those throws there from Jack where you thought the pressure really altered the trajectory.
Yes, no question.
Jack, overall, just a tremendous game. I mean, his second game of the season with 30 or more completion, or 28 or more completions. He's having a heck of a year.
Yeah, he's playing well, and Keagan really played well.
Keagan with a career best 11 receptions. What about this pick?
Yeah, it was a good break by their guy. Receivers got to come back to the ball a little bit to help on that.
There's a near miss for your team. There were a couple like that, Coach.
Yeah, we had to take advantage of those opportunities.
And here's Dorian in the flat. Anytime you get him going downhill, he is tough to handle.
Yeah, this was a nice drive here coming down the field. Again, Keagan with a nice catch, getting out of his break, really showing his hands off there. It's a heck of a catch.
Spectacular catch to haul that in and keep a foot in bounds. And then Jack, the back shoulder to Keagan, it feels like if you've got one-on-one, you can get that whenever you want.
Yeah, this was a really nice drive. I had the quarterback draw there to finish it off, but I thought a really nice drive that didn't use much time, but was able to get us back in the game. And we went for 2 here. Nice catch by Sean Miller on the conversion.
I feel like Jack does a nice job of hiding the football and those play fakes here down in the red zone too. We've seen him do that several times this season.
Yep, cuts it to 10, so we got a shot here.
What about defensively here on this possession?
The last couple drives would have been big to get the stop there. It was a nice conversion by them, and each one of those conversions is worth about 2.5 minutes, and we end up getting the stop here with about 7 minutes left. So we have to continue to be in the hurry-up offense here.
Now you set up the screen here to Keagan, and he shows that he's a pretty good run-after-catch guy too.
Yeah, really nice job by the lineman getting out there. Good job by Keagan.
Jack just continuing to make good decisions. I feel like when he decisively tucks it away, he makes good things happen in the scramble.
Yeah, he's a decent little runner. He's a good athlete, and this was a nice thing where they checked at the line of scrimmage, Keagan and Jack, and hit the hitch.
So that's something that they did themselves at the line of scrimmage.
They checked that at the line. And this one was just a near miss, and unfortunately Buckley gets hurt on that play and is going to be out for a while. But we just got to put the ball, get to it a little quicker than put it on the ball. Put the ball on the line a little bit more. That would have been big to try to cut it to 3 there, but instead we take the field goal, cut it to 7.
And you talked about some penalties on that drive, kind of slowing the drive down a little bit too.
Yeah, really at the start of the drive. That was an 80-yard field goal drive. And we had 2 penalties at the beginning that pushed us back. And then we just got to get a stop here. And there were some things here fundamentally. We got to stay on our pass. I was disappointed that we gave up 3 first downs at the end of the game where they were able to take a knee at the end of the game and we were given a chance on offense.
What about the overall performance of the defense in this one, Coach?
Well, I think we can play better. I think we got to do a better job as coaches. We got to put them in a the best position possible, and really have some good schemes. We got to really do a good job coaching this week to try to create some more turnovers and some more disruption. Because against a good offense like that, you really look at it. They only forced us to punt once in the game, but they were able to force some turnovers. So we forced 3 punts in the game, but didn't force any turnovers, and that's the difference.
Okay, Coach, we'll be back with you at the end of the show to talk Boise State. Next, Keagan Johnson, Lobo wide receiver, joins us on the Lobo Coaches Show. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Green Summit Landscape Management. Welcome back into your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with standout wide receiver at the University of New Mexico, Keagan Johnson. KJ, great to be with you, man. First off, how you doing?
Great. Feeling good. Feeling healthy. Excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm doing good.
Let's start with that first part there, feeling healthy. That hasn't always been the case in your career. This has to be just feeling like a blessing for you this season.
It is. And some of the trials and tribulations I've been through, it puts in perspective, that this game, it's not something you should take for granted. And I tell you what, I play that much harder when I'm out there just because of it. I know what it feels like to not be out there. So, I don't take it for granted, and I'm hoping to keep it going. So yeah.
Yeah, that opportunity, you never take that for granted. And Keagan, coming from Iowa to Kansas State, now to the University of New Mexico, what about this chance to show what you can do with the Lobos?
Yeah, it's great. I'm having a great time. I love the guys on the team. I love the offense. I love our coaches, and it's my final year of college football, so just going out there and playing as hard as I can, and I wouldn't want to do it at any other place right now.
The Lobos opened the season against Michigan on the road in Ann Arbor in the Big House, and you were scrambling to get healthy for that game, and you told me there's no way I'm missing this contest.
Yeah, exactly. I knew my family was going to be there in the Big House. First game of the year. I told you there's no way I wasn't going to be out there, and fortunately I was able to be out there, and it was a great night. Although we didn't come out with a win, but it was just a great environment. And we competed out there. So yeah.
You've been in some big time college football environments. Where does that one rank?
It's up there. It's top 5. I've played in some of the, biggest Big Ten, environments, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and, that's definitely up there. It's not the loudest stadium. It's, known for being the biggest, but I would say it's an historic place. Everyone knows the Big House. I think anyone who plays college football dreams of playing in somewhere like the Big House, so it was great.
All right. Keagan had a tremendous performance in the Lobo loss to San José State last weekend. 11 catches, 145 yards, only the 11th time in Lobo football history that combination of statistics happened. What was it like out there?
It was great. Like I said, I'm playing the hardest I've ever played right now. I feel great, and I'm doing whatever I can to help the offense. Wherever they need me, whether that's deep balls, intermediate routes, short routes. Every time I catch it, I'm thinking about taking this to the house. So it was great. I was feeling good. Just kind of in that flow state, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough. But I'm hoping that as an offense, we're going to bounce back and be even better next week. But it was a great game.
In terms of 2 back-to-back games, San Jose State, right before that, New Mexico State, the 2 best games of your college football career. Let's take a peek at some of the highlights from these 2 contests and just kind of take us through it. This New Mexico State game, by the way, playing in front of a sellout crowd, how did that feel?
It was great. I think it's even more special that that we're trying to, get the community more involved in Lobo football this year, and to be able to, have a game like that in front of a crowd, and especially just a rivalry game. The atmosphere was amazing. It's obviously it's not the biggest stadium I've ever played in, but just the energy, the atmosphere, like it was really unmatched. You could tell people were just really into the game, and I'm glad we were able to kind of put on a show for them because that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, you guys did put on a show. You and Jack Lane appeared to be on the same page. The great deep ball. There was a trick play, touchdown from Buck, that beautiful back shoulder that Jack threw to you. And now it just felt like Jack could find you anytime he wanted against San Jose State.
Yeah, I think me and Jack, like I said, mentioned earlier, we're just kind of flow. He knew where I was going to be. He knew that he got the timing down, and I think that was just kind of a carryover from the New Mexico State game. Just us building that chemistry more and more each. You can do a lot in practice, but nothing really compares to that game speed. And I think, as I mentioned, that's just the carryover from the New Mexico State game, and we're going to keep that going.
When you guys got down 17 in the second half, it did become a tempo and throw game. I mean, it was on. First off, did the conditioning pay off? Like, how did you feel? Because you guys were running all over the place the entire second half, and this had to be so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I would tell you what, after that hitch route when I fell down, I was pretty gassed, but like I said, I'm just grateful to be out there. I'm feeling healthy. It's okay to be a little gassed out there sometimes. You just got to dig deep, and that's part of fourth quarter football is like everyone out there is not feeling great. Someone's cramping up, your muscles, they don't have as much power, but it was great. Like you mentioned, we were kind of up tempo, so we were throwing it, and it was fun. So yeah.
What's it like in the receiver room? What's the camaraderie in that group?
It's great, super close. I think it starts at the top with our coach Lockett. It's like a family. I love the guys I'm around. I want to play hard for the guys around. We get better, we compete with each other, and I think each week we've elevated our game, and we're going to continue to do that.
Well, a chance to do that against Boise State coming up this weekend. Best of luck against the Broncos.
Thank you.
All right, Keagan Johnson, our guest. When we come back, we wrap up the Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach Jason Eck. We're back to wrap up this edition of your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at New Mexico, Jason Eck. I'm Robert Portnoy. As always, we're presented by Green Summit Landscape Management. Okay, Coach, before we get to Boise State, let's get to our question of the week. It is brought to you by Newsenda Credit Union. Coach, how'd you feel your offense functioned when it had to go to the 2-minute mode there in the second half? Robbie in Tucumcari asks.
Good question, Robbie. We really had to get to it early. We went to it when we were down 18 there late. I thought we did a nice job. Moved the ball well. Keagan Johnson was big. Jack Lane played well. We protected pretty well in that scenario. We got the first touchdown and the 2-point conversion to cut it to 10. Unfortunately, we only got a field goal. The second drive would have been great to get that ball to Buckley for the last touchdown. But I thought they did a nice job, and we ended up getting over 20 plays of 2-minute offense between the first half and the second half of that game. So hopefully that pays off for down the year.
Indeed. Great question there from Robbie. Okay, the Lobos just played the team that was picked third in the Mountain West in the preseason poll. Now you get the number 1 pick preseason, the perennial favorite, Boise State, this week, Coach.
Yeah, I think, Boise State's kind of the top team in the group of 5. The team that was in the playoff last year, and even though they've had a couple losses this year to very good teams in USF and Notre Dame, they're a great opponent. Coach Danielson's done a great job there. They have a lot of talented people on that roster. The quarterback's experience, Madsen. They have a great secondary, great D-line.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. As always, Lobo's still sitting in a very nice position at 3-2. Best of luck on the road against the Broncos.
Thanks, Rob.
For Lobo head football coach Jason Eck, I'm Robert Portnoy. Hearty thank you to Frank Mercogliano and Chase Christensen for all their contributions. That'll do it for us for now. So long, everybody, and go Lobos.